Brianna has a diagnosis of cerebral palsy, spastic quadriplegia, GMFCS5 and associated conditions. She's non-verbal, gastrostomy fed and has a severe scoliosis. She has had numerous back surgeries with rods inserted twice and eventually removed, and her spine is fused. Mostly though, Brianna is a young woman with a zest for life and a willingness to work hard to achieve her goals. Brianna's parents, Nikki and Mark, knew before she was born that something was wrong. Our wish when they told us that there would be complications at Brianna's birth was that we would get to take our baby home. Mark and Nikki were told this could mean that Brianna will not be able to sit up by herself, hold her head up unaided, walk, talk, or really do anything for herself. And yet, life was anything but grim as Brianna overcame many challenges in her life. When Bri began attending conductive education programs, she was 17 years old. She only just tolerated lying in prone at all. Using breathing, counting, rhythmic intention and singing, Bri achieved a symmetrical position and then moved on to learning to prop and lift her head up. In just 20 months, these are the things that she has achieved. This position continued to improve as her neck muscles became stronger and her shoulder muscles relaxed and stretched. Conductive education gave her the structure and routine to develop this and provided a framework of belief. By August this year, she really felt she had conquered prone, propping and holding her head up. I'll probably actually turn the sound of that down. Sorry. These achievements on the plinth are success enough on their own, but the practical application, particularly into her hydro sessions, continue to give Bri a sense of success and joy. Right from the beginning, Bri was keen to try positions out of her very supportive moulded wheelchair, although you can see by these pictures that she was a little bit stressed at the beginning, but she was determined to overcome her fear and learn to believe in what she can do. Initially, Bri was pleased with her efforts just sitting out of her wheelchair. Over time, though, it became important to her to work on sitting without support from a person. We problem solved any way we could to help Bri achieve her goals. In the photo on the right, you can see that this was one way that she achieved that goal for a short period of time. It didn't last as long as Bri wanted it to. In both of these positions, Bri can be on her own, but the position at the plinth on the right is the one that she can maintain for the longest. Both positions are a constant reminder to her about the importance of grasping, despite the challenge her hands provide in this area. As you can see from the photo on the left, Bri's spinal curve presents any seating with the back, unless it is moulded to her shape. Brianna distinctly chooses to be out of that kind of seating, because it's her wheelchair, whenever she can during her CEQ day. At school and at home, Bri has support like this so that she can stand. You can imagine her excitement when we said we'd add to her repertoire of standing. The first attempts were actually without the ladder at a plinth, but required too much hands-on, and Bri was keen for those hands to go, so over the ladder became her preferred method. First, she gained strength in her trunk, and she continues to work to this day on head up and in the middle. As her arms and legs develop strength, this position could be attempted. This stand is achieved mostly when the group is large and there is a great deal of active encouragement from everyone. Brianna really does like a crowd. As with sitting, many positions in standing have been tried to give Bri the hands-off experience that she craves. This is a recent stand where Bri wanted to show the strength in her legs. It was just November this year. She's gained so much and has shown us all that it is never too late to begin conductive education programs, and her achievements in the last 20 months do inspire all of us to set goals, find solutions and work at them. And with head control and symmetry gains, you can have independence like this. It really is never too late. Cameron has cerebral palsy, GMFCS4 quadriplegia, with the left side more affected. He has a predominant dystonic motor disorder with some spasticity. Cameron also has autism, intellectual disability, epilepsy and cortical vision impairment. Mostly, however, Cameron is an energetic, handsome young man who does not often take no for an answer. Cameron has effective communication strategies, particularly with familiar people. He has learnt more words in the last 3 years than perhaps the previous 18 years. Cameron was diagnosed soon after birth as a result of CMV contracted into utero. He's a young man driven by movement. He needs to be busy. Cameron has had an early intervention and ongoing conductive education programs all of his life. He attended a special school that used the CE philosophy for all of his school years. He now attends an adult disability support service which provides conductive education programs 3 days a week and hydrotherapy 1 day a week. Cameron took his first steps unaided at the age of 6 years. The conductive education intentions, the first person language and rhythm play a vital role in Cameron's active and functional movement. This continues into his adult life. Cameron's childhood and teenage years were a journey of belief, never give up attitude, fun and adventure with a family who supported and helped him to grow, believing in all of his abilities, not his disabilities. Conductive education provided him with the framework to successfully achieve his many goals, always around active engagement and independence. In 2012, at the age of 17, Cameron's left hand was causing him discomfort. All of his life, CE had taught him to use his hands, particularly his left hand as his fixing hand. After much debate, surgery was finally performed and the result was impressive, and now it was our job to prove that Cameron could actively rehab using conductive education. All this was achieved. Inevitably, 4 years down later, he has had some return. However, recently he managed to take $5 notes firmly in each hand. These were part of a deal he had with his physiotherapist in the CE team, who said she would pay him $10 if he said her name. Finally, after working with Cameron for around 15 years, just this year Cameron said her name. Not long after the hand surgery in November 2012, Cameron had a spine x-ray, as it had become obvious that his scoliosis had advanced dramatically. This was a shock to everybody. This is the way that Cameron was walking. We sent 13 minutes of video to specialists in Melbourne and Brisbane, wherever we could, to convince them that we needed a solution that he could still be active. For better or worse, this meant that in February 2013, the only answer they came up with was, let's leave him until he gets off his feet, until he stops walking. Of course, they didn't know Cameron the way we did. He didn't really ever get off his feet, except that he had a fall in the shower and dislocated the hip. So finally, he went ahead and had spine surgery, rods inserted on either side. This is Cameron 6 months after spinal surgery. where they told him he would be wheelchair bound for the rest of his life. They didn't factor in that Cameron wanted the remote for his television. I particularly like as we come around to this bit where he actually stands on his own to change the remote from one hand to the other. Cameron continued to push himself to walk again. This is him leaving CEQ one evening in late April. So after the spinal surgery, they then had to reconstruct the hip. This is a gym program that we designed for Cameron. However, he still preferred the traditional CE task series for his rehab. Just to show that life wasn't all about surgery, he did also have his 20th birthday at the beach with his mates. Although Cameron walked again and showed his never give up attitude, we did discover so much pain with his hip. On a hip x-ray again, it was discovered that all the bone grafts had been eaten. No one quite knows what Cameron's issues are, but he has a blood disorder and a kidney problem, and something has gone wrong with the hip. However, while he has very little structure to the hip, Cameron usually puts his feet to the ground to breathe. This was just in November, before a hip replacement surgery, where he showed that he can still progress no matter how much pain is in. This video is of Cameron 2 days ago. He has had a total hip replacement. He just went to put the lights on the Christmas tree and is walking again. This seriously is a never give up young man, and Conductive Education has given him the strategies to continue to progress against all odds. Thank you.